From JBS Studios in Greater New York, this is the JBS News Update with Teisha Bader.
I'm Teisha Bader with the JBS News Update for Tuesday, January the 23rd, 2018. U.S. Vice President Mike Pence concluded his visit to Israel today, touring the country's Holocaust Museum Yad Vashem in Jerusalem and taking part in a ceremony there at the Hall of Remembrance. Pence then made his way to the Western Wall in Jerusalem's Old City, calling the chance to pray there inspiring and an honor. This afternoon, the vice president met with Israel's President Reuven Rivlin, who called Pence a dear friend of the Jewish people and the State of Israel. And Rivlin told Pence that as a seventh-generation Jerusalemite, he had deeply appreciated the vice president's reaffirmation of America's recognition of Jerusalem as the capital of Israel. Pence departed Ben Gurion Airport this evening aboard Air Force Two, heading back to Washington. And Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu took off for Switzerland this afternoon to participate in the World Economic Forum in Davos. Netanyahu wrote that he will advance the standing of Israel at the conference, which he said has already taken shape as a global technological power. While in Davos, the Prime Minister will meet with a number of world leaders, including German Chancellor Angela Merkel, French President Emmanuel Macron, Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, as well as the presidents of Ukraine and Azerbaijan, among others. Two Palestinian teenagers tried to carry out a stabbing attack today in the West Bank. Israeli border police observed the teens approaching a bus stop at the Tapuach Junction. They called on them to stop. When the two refused, the officers fired warning shots in the air. One of the teens then took out a knife and ran at the officers, who shot at the legs of both teens to neutralize them. The two Palestinians were treated at the scene, arrested, and taken to the hospital for further treatment. A senior official of the Palestinian Authority suggested that the Palestinians would be open to an international effort that includes the United States to restart peace talks with Israel. Following the U.S. recognition of Jerusalem as Israel's capital, PA President Abbas had said that the U.S. was no longer acceptable as a mediator of peace talks, but Abbas's senior advisor, Majdi al-Khalidi, told the Times of Israel today, "We cannot accept the United States alone, but we are not against the United States being part of a multilateral mechanism." As we reported to you yesterday, High Commissioner of the European Union, Federica Mogherini, also mentioned such a framework to oversee negotiations made up of the Middle East Quartet, which includes the United States, the United Nations, and Russia, which could be expanded to also include some Arab countries. Khalidi said that was one option that the Palestinians would consider. The other would be a group made up of permanent members of the UN's Security Council, which also includes the U.S., as well as China, France, Russia, and the U.K. Well, Academy Award nominations were announced this morning, and Israel's hopes to be included in the Best Foreign Language Film category fell short. The Israeli film Foxtrot had made the shortlist for the Oscars, making the cut of the top 9 contenders, but only 5 films made it to be nominees, and they are from Lebanon, Chile, Russia, Hungary, and Sweden. 92 films were considered in all. Some good news, though, for a number of Jewish nominees who this year include actor Timothée Chalamet, who plays an American Jew living with his family in Italy in the critically acclaimed Call Me By Your Name, which is also a Best Picture nominee and is based on the book by Egyptian-born Jewish novelist Andrei Asiman. Jewish composer Hans Zimmer was nominated for Best Score for Dunkirk. Benj Pasek was nominated along with his writing partner Justin Paul for Best Original Song in The Greatest Showman. And screenwriter Aaron Sorkin was nominated for Best Adapted Screenplay for Molly's Game. The Oscars air on March the 4th. And a new Israeli film takes on the city of Jerusalem and its many diverse sectors of society. Israeli filmmaker Amos Gitai's Light Rail in Jerusalem shows the, quote, whole mix, as he said, of religious and secular Palestinians and Israelis all making their way on the trolley-type train through Jerusalem as a metaphor for the city, which he calls a mosaic. And taking a look now at our programming for tonight on JBS for Tuesday, January the 23rd at 7 o'clock. It's a panel discussion on global anti-Semitism with Professor Deborah Lipstadt, Jonathan Tobin, Mark Weitzman, Daniel Guadalupe, and Rabbi Joe Potasnik from Kean University. At 8, CEO and National Director of the Anti-Defamation League, Jonathan Greenblatt, talks about the rise of anti-Semitism and how the ADL is fighting it from Temple Shalom in Greenwich, Connecticut. At 9, Mark Golub sits down with Dr. Ruth Weiss on L'chaim, and at 10, former Ambassador at Large for International Religious Freedom, Rabbi David Saperstein, discusses religious freedom at home and abroad. And coming up right after this newscast tonight at 6:30, it's the ILTV program Frenemies. And that's the JBS News Update for Tuesday, January the 23rd, 2018. I'm Teisha Bader.